The following series is based on real events. Some details have been changed for privacy, but the story you're about to hear is true. This is Shattered Justice. The detective called again, and this time, it wasn't just a follow-up. His tone was sharper, more official. He wanted me and Jeremiah to come down to the station for a formal interview, and the moment I hung up, something in me shifted, like oxygen got heavier, like the room pressed closer around me. This wasn't just aftermath anymore. This was the beginning of something else. Before going anywhere near that station, we got a lawyer, because once someone dies, every word becomes evidence. Every memory becomes a statement, and every sentence matters. We scheduled to meet with him within the next day or so. Time didn't move smooth. It dragged, thick and uncomfortable, like waiting for something you can't stop and can't outrun. When we finally sat down with the attorney, he didn't come alone. He had two others with him. A blonde female associate, early 30s, analytical and quiet, and a heavyset black male associate who barely spoke but observed everything. Me and Jeremiah sat across from them. And for the first time, I told the entire story from the beginning to the end. Not screaming, not crying, not in shock, but straight through in one long breath. And instead of relief, the truth made the room feel heavier. Truth can do that. It's not always freeing. Sometimes it traps you in place. I told the attorney about what we found in my daughter's bag, a copy of his other daughter's social security card, a copy of his stepson's birth certificate, a copy of our 2019 parenting plan for our daughter, and a copy of the marriage license between him and his wife. I had already told police about the male enhancement oil, but not about the paperwork, because we didn't have it. We found those documents the night before everything happened, July 31st, 2020, and we destroyed them that same night, torn up, gone. So I asked the attorney directly, should I tell the detectives about the papers? He told me no, that I needed to maintain continuity, stay consistent with the statement I gave police that night. No adding details later, even if they were true. And that word continuity stayed with me. It felt like truth with no place to land. When we left the office, the instructions were simple. Only answer what you are asked. No extra information, no filling in blanks. No trying to help them solve the story, not lying. Just protecting the truth from being twisted into something else. Because in the legal system, truth and evidence don't always look the same. The day of the interview, me and Jeremiah drove there together in near silence. The main attorney and the blonde associate were already there. Jeremiah went first. I sat in the lobby alone. 2 chairs, humming lights, a smell like old paperwork and cold air. I kept my hands in my lap so they wouldn't see them shaking. I was scared. But it wasn't a loud kind of fear. It was the quiet kind, the kind that sits in your chest heavy and still, like you're holding your breath for too long. Every second felt stretched thin, too quiet, too bright. Every click of a door sounded like it could be mine. Then they called me in.
Mrs.
The
Ahmed.
attorneys didn't sit beside me. They sat behind me, close enough to feel, too far to lean on. It was just me across from the detective. He asked if I knew why Jamal came to the house that night. If there were any papers, documents, anything exchanged between us, if there was a reason he showed up the way he did, I answered only what was asked. No extra sentences, no details outside the question, keeping continuity like I was instructed. But every question felt like stepping carefully through something sharp, like one wrong answer could turn everything against me. When my interview ended, I walked out into the lobby. Jeremiah was sitting near the entrance waiting. I barely reached him when the detective followed behind us and said,
I have a warrant for your phone.
We all walked outside together. Me, Jeremiah, the attorney, the detective. My phone was in our car. So they followed us out, and I reached in, unlocked it, and handed it over, right there in the open. The detective gave my attorney a paper, presumably the warrant, and told me,
We won't have it long.
like that line was supposed to settle something in me, but it didn't. Because inside that phone was the recorded call with my father from the day of the shooting, the call where I told him about the papers. My phone recorded every call automatically, and that one was saved. We left the station and got into the car. It was quiet until Jeremiah finally said,
I told you to get rid of the phone.
and I remember sitting there, still, Maybe he did say it, maybe I forgot. Maybe memory wasn't the only thing getting lost in all this. All I knew was the feeling, numb, confused, a guilt that wasn't mine, but found its way onto me anyway. Almost a year later, I found out that the warrant they used to take my phone, it wasn't even for mine. It was a warrant for Jamal's phone. This wasn't closure, this was the next door opening.